So here it is, issue 2 of Frank Miller and Jim Lee's Batman and Robin, The Boy Wonder, with Scott Williams and Alex Sinclair. I'm Tom Scioli, author of I Am Stan, a graphic biography of the legendary Stan Lee. And in the show notes below, there's a pre-order link where you can pre-order that upcoming book. And at that same pre-order link, you can pre-order the softcover edition of Jack Kirby, The Epic Life of the King of Comics. I'm a huge fan of Frank Miller, the writer. I'm a huge fan of Frank Miller, the artist. And so anytime I could get my hands on one of these Frank Miller drawn covers, I would. And I mean, this one's great. I love the evolution that his style has taken on as the years go on, an intensification, a simplification, and he's just comes up with these compositional strategies that nobody else would come up with. And so we get this opening page, and it is Jim Lee in Frank Miller mode. It looks like Jim Lee, but he's putting some Frank Miller-isms. I've seen this similar composition in issues of Sin City, where it's like, riding up a mountain road with the city in the background with some kind of animal jumping out of the way, usually like a lizard or something, with Sin City being a sort of, desert community. And, the Batmobile is sort of the star of this issue. I'm a huge fan of car chases in comics and vehicular combat in comics, and there just aren't enough great examples of it. And I feel like this issue devotes a lot of real estate to it and is one of the great sort of car chases and car combat sequences that's ever been done in comics. And Miller is one of the foremost practitioners. The rhythm of this book, it's a really great rhythm, and so this splash page here, this second splash on the page turn with an extremely shocking image. I mean, this comic, it is, nothing happens the way you would expect it to in a story about, how Batman and Robin first teamed up. It's very surprising, very shocking. A lot of things that seem incredibly out of character for Batman specifically, just for superheroes in general. And at the time, that was a major critique that people made of this work. But to me, it's like we're in the hands of a master storyteller. Frank Miller's taking us on a journey. And this is one of the strategies you use when you're telling a story is, especially with characters you're super familiar with, surprise us. Make the character do things that are, kind of crazy, that we don't understand. And then it creates interest, creates a narrative tension. And then where's this going? Where are you taking this? Hopefully you're taking us somewhere really interesting. And sort of the more goodwill the creators have developed, the more you're willing to go on that journey. And I would say that Frank Miller has a ton of goodwill, at least with me. He's created some of the greatest comics to come out of the medium. And even though his batting average was sort of slipping prior to this, and I'm sure people would disagree with me and say that, oh no, he's sort of squandered that goodwill. I disagree. I mean, he's still way ahead. He's shooting some kind of like knockout gas into Dick Grayson's mouth. You see Batman's face reflected in his eyeballs. Just hot, very sort of pulpy, film noir kind of EC comics, kind of like shocking imagery. And again, superhero comics of the past, I don't know, I'd say 30 years, they've just been sleepwalking. They've been fucking sleepwalking. Anything that sort of shocks you into wakefulness, to me, is welcome. Superhero comics in general and DC comics in particular are just a fucking snooze. And this comic is not a snooze. But anyway, so he's knocking out Dick Grayson, which if you read like old Golden Age comics, there's a lot of the superheroes drugging people. Like one of the first Superman stories, he drugs the quarterback on a football team so he can impersonate him. Batman's doing it in the initial Sam Hamm draft of the Batman 1989 movie. I'm not sure what to make of it, but it's definitely, part of the history of superhero comics. So we cut from this very shocking image to Alfred on the battlefield. And this is a younger Alfred than we see in Dark Knight Returns, a little more active. And when we get to see a little more of his sort of, military training, why this guy is, part of Batman's team. And he and Vicky Vale were just in like a car accident. sort of talking about what they've seen, and you get like a little recap of what we've seen so far. I saw it all. Dick Grayson, age 12. He was brilliant, brilliant. And then his parents getting shot. Vicky Vale, columnist. Somebody murdered his parents right before his eyes, brutally, brutally. It was brutal. I saw it all. Bearing witness. Very pulpy, Frank Miller's style, very much, from the maker of Sin City. I'd love to see Robert Rodriguez and Frank Miller team up again to make the movie version of this and finish the series, since we never got to see the ending. Picking up from the last panel of the previous issue, throwing Robin into the Batmobile, we get this kind of like film poster kind of, pose here with patented Frank Miller Dark Knight lightning bolt. Batman again is trying to, administer more knockout gas. The gas calms him down in the space of seconds. He won't be having any nightmares, not the kind that aren't true anyway. Then he starts fussing. Who the hell are you? The gas was supposed to knock him out. His brain ought to be sailing past the moon right now. What's this brat made out of? Again, you've seen these moments drawn in Sin City comics. Damn maniac of, somebody almost driving a car off the road. And they're talking, and again, this scene, it's like, what is going on? But there's, there's something interesting going on here, and he's, why is he putting this kid through hell right now? And but we start to see that, maybe there's a method to his madness, and Dick Grayson is kind of starting to get a clue to it all. So he's kind of figuring it out too. Little by little, and he's going through like a post-traumatic, episode, and we're starting to get the sense that maybe Batman has this like very strange technique, but it's, a way that he's figured that'll sort of, guide this kid through, what he's going through, because, Batman went through, something identical. Damn, no matter what I say, no matter how I say it, this kid just won't scare. And Batman's, big, technique is fear. He gets the results that he gets through fear, and he's trying to apply that same strategy to this situation. Maybe you ought to pull over. They look serious. The cops, I mean. You've got a lot to learn, kid. Not so much as a pull over. They're not even trying to arrest me. Not anymore. I guess somebody on the force put out a kill order on me. Cool. It's about damn time. We get a great car chase, great car combat. You're gonna love this, kid. I hate it already. Oh, hell. Just watch, kiddo. This is gonna be great. Ha! I can't watch. And of course, Frank Miller, the guy who, invented the grim and gritty superhero, taking cues from, Judge Dredd and from, vigilante movies of the 70s. If he wants to continue to sort of, shock and be on the cutting edge of this kind of storytelling, he has to up the dosage, and that he does in this issue. And so, the Batmobile is just, mowing down policemen. They're flying off their motorcycles. He's spinning around. Batman starts laughing again. A sudden jolt. The air sucks itself out of my lungs. My face stretches like it's made out of silly putty. This must be what an astronaut feels like during takeoff. We fly. The maniac beside me keeps laughing. What's happening to me? What's happening to me? And, a lot of real estate is being dedicated to car combat, and I'm not complaining. Frank Miller, take me on this ride, Using the Batmobile as an offensive weapon, something we've never seen in the movies, in other comics. And it's just, it's just really great. He's just like sort of, tearing these cars. It's like a demolition derby. We got a little bit of that in the most recent Batman movie. But again, not anything like this. See, I love this little twist here. Hit it, full out, no ceiling. The man talks to his car. How weird is that? Very good, sir. And his car listens to him and talks back with a British accent. How weird is that? He may be faking that voice, but his laughter still creeps the crap out of me. I hate this guy. Oh my God, this is crazy. Run for it. The world turns upside down. We fly. And boom, the Batmobile goes airborne. Superhero comics as spectacle. I don't know when you've seen this level of spectacle in a superhero comic. in recent years. And now the Batmobile is airborne, and we just see a burning policeman's cap. We see a shoe. There might even be a foot inside of there. But yeah, Batman has just created extreme carnage with his Batmobile. Isn't this what you read Batman comics for? And he flies up, and I don't know, maybe in the movie he'll stop for a second and make a little bat symbol before he flies back down. And he did say something about Dick Grayson, flying past the moon, and so now we've got that. Damn it all! What am I doing to this kid? Who the hell do I think I am? I'm torturing the boy, torturing him. Just look at him. He's a baby, and I'm torturing him. It's a terrible thing to do, but it's the only way. It's the only way. If I don't keep the pressure up, he'll find time to grieve. I can't let him grieve. Grief is the enemy. There's no time for grief. There's no room for grief. Grief turns into acceptance, forgiveness. Grief forgives what can never be forgiven. Never. Oh, hell, just look at him. Stop it. No doubts. Remember the mission. Nothing matters except the mission. He doesn't matter. You don't matter. Nothing matters except the mission. Pray he's up to it. Those were cops down there, back there. They were cops. What's with that? You've got a lot to learn, kid. And Batman has assumed, the parentage of this orphan. He has now made himself the parent to Dick Grayson, and he's parenting Dick Grayson the way he was parented, because he parented himself. He lost his parents at an early age, Batman, and so had no parents, and so he was forced to, in his mind, create a parent for himself, and this parent that he created for himself was a young child's idea of what a parent is, and it's extremely severe, way more severe than a real parent would be, and unforgiving and uncompromising. This sort of basically the Batman. This bat is what Batman substituted for parenting, and so that's how he parented himself. That's how he got to where he is, and he's applying those same parenting techniques to Dick Grayson. And so, again, it's like, is this behavior you would want to see in real life from a real person? No, of course not. But in this sort of imaginary, turned up to 11, pulped out, crazy Frank Miller world of the crazy Frank Miller Batman, it's pretty good comics. I want to find out what happens next. I want to, see how this all plays out, and it's very compelling. It is, I'm not sleepwalking through this comic, unlike most Batman comics that I read. And again, with Jim Lee's drawings, Jim Lee's doing a great job here. But again, you can sort of imagine, drawn by Frank Miller, all of this stuff would just fit even more. I feel like you'd totally get it when it becomes this like fully, Frank Miller cartoon world, this sort of demented cartoon. It would just make so much sense in that context, in that world, where in this sort of, Jim Lee world, it's not, it plays a little differently, but again, still works. And I take that back about if Frank Miller drew this, people would accept it more. I think they'd, complain just as much, if not more, about this if Frank Miller drew it and wrote it. But I would love it. I enjoy it quite a bit as it is, but drawn by Frank Miller, it might have been his best work. They have it out, and Batman's doing his Batman thing and trying to, explain to him what's going on, and Robin's doing his Robin thing. And again, this is All-Star Batman and Robin, but if you see how large Robin is, the word Robin is on the cover, like Robin is the star. It is from Robin's viewpoint. So also, Robin is sort of the moral center. He's sort of, the things that he's saying and his reactions are much closer to our reactions as a reader. He's sort of the sensible one, and we're also seeing it through his lens. So if Batman seems extra insane, we're also sort of seeing that through Dick Grayson's eyes. He probably seems even more insane, from his point of view. But they're talking it out. They're working things out. Yeah, I'm listening. There's only one cop worth a damn in Gotham City, and he's nowhere near this case. I know you've been all over the world. The circus life. Yeah, the circus life. I guess I get a reaction out of him. He loses the Eastwood imitation. His voice goes kind of soft, which is really strange. And I know most cops you've seen have been all right. Sure, they've been okay. Up until tonight, anyways. Most are, most places. That's why most cities don't need me. But Gotham needs me. Gotham needs me. And maybe she needs you. Maybe not. We'll see. Be brave, Dick Grayson. Be brave. It's quiet, except for the blood pounding in my ears. He actually wants me to join this nutso crusade of his. Fighting crime. Good way to get myself killed. And I wouldn't have any catchers this time. Nobody to catch me. No mom, no dad. Mom, Dad, what do I do? What do I do? And why did you die? Who killed you? Yes, sir. I'll be brave. He's agreed to this whole, crazy, offer that Batman's made. Batman as this sort of, border guardian into this. He's accepted the call to adventure into this, dark, crazy world of being a sort of, a creature of the night, dark superhero kind of thing. And on the page turn, the Robin logo, sort of tilted, zoomed in, almost, spinning, like it almost feels like it's spinning. And that page turn really blew me away when I first read it. It was he turns the page and now he's Robin. From here on out, he's on that path. And it just, I thought this was just a great flourish, a sort of master stroke, a perfect way to end this issue. And just the way it's zoomed and the way it's tilted. And Miller has done stuff like this in the past, zooming in on the Superman logo in Dark Knight up against the American flag and thing where the stripes turn into the S of the Superman logo thing. And this devoting a whole page to it is just very bold. And I'm all in, and I love it. And he does it again, I think, in the next issue. Whenever Superman shows up, he does it with the Superman logo, and it's just not as effective because the Superman logo, it's like the way they do it is like smaller, and it's more sort of, straight left and right and up and down. The tilt and the zoom really sells it. And I wish they would have done something similar with the Superman logo when Superman shows up. But we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. To be continued. I hope to see you for issue number 3. I'm Tom Scioli, author of I Am Stan, a graphic biography of the legendary Stan Lee. This upcoming book is available for pre-order. In the show notes below, there's a pre-order link. And at that same pre-order link, you can also pre-order the softcover edition of Jack Kirby, The Epic Life of the King of Comics. I'll see you next time.